An unprecedented new consciousness is transforming the entire human species. A new world is being born. The old world is disintegrating. Both worlds now call to you. Do you want to live in gratitude, patience, contentment, and awe of the universe? Or in anger, worry, overwhelm, and despair? This podcast will help you choose joyfully and effectively. Welcome. Here's a question. What would you say to someone who is severely depressed and is on antidepressants and anti-anxiety drugs? Can anyone learn emotional awareness from this and grow from it? Yes, absolutely, yes. The experience of depression is extraordinarily painful. It is the experience of a part of your personality that originates in fear. It is the experience of overwhelming inadequacy, of overwhelming anger, of overwhelming despair. All of these are experiences of fear. I was depressed often when I was macho, when my world was a world of sex and drugs and motorcycles and more of the same on an endless cycle. I joined the Army. This is after I came back from the Army. And depression was a part of all of that. Anger, depression, sexual addiction. And I knew when I was depressed that it was a terrible agony. It was stepping into a suffering that has no beginning and seems to have no end. I couldn't imagine not being depressed or ever not being depressed once I became depressed, even for a moment. I didn't have the tools that I'm giving you. I didn't have knowledge of what I know now, that depression is an experience of fear, and that expression of fear, depression, is painful because of physical sensations in the body that occur when that part of the personality is active. So we call it a frightened part of the personality because it originates in fear, in want, in lack, in powerlessness. When you are depressed, use your emotional awareness. Develop emotional awareness now. Emotional awareness is putting your attention into your body in 7 specific places. The 3 of them that I'd recommend you start with are your chest area, your throat area, and your solar plexus area. When you feel angry or jealous or depressed, when you feel depressed in particular, in this case, put your attention into these parts of your body and look for physical sensations. If you don't experience physical sensations, keep looking. It doesn't matter if you're depressed. I know you're depressed. You know you're depressed. Look for physical sensations because eventually you will find them. And when you find them, well done. They'll be painful. You might feel a band across your chest. You might feel sharp stabbing pains in your chest or churning and burning in your solar plexus area or contraction in your throat that makes it difficult to speak, maybe even difficult to breathe. Keep looking for physical sensations because when you find them, then you're making progress. Then you're going beneath the depression. Then you can recognize what it is you're dealing with. Then you can say with specificity what it is that hurts, not simply that you feel heavy or depressed or down or lethargic or sad, but that you can feel physical sensations in your chest area, your solar plexus, and your throat. And then when you're feeling them, know that they come from a frightened part of your personality. They don't come from the unchangeable ground of your being. And you can challenge those painful physical sensations, which previously you were saying were feelings of despair or sadness or depression. You can challenge them by not acting on them, by acting from a loving part of your personality instead. This will require courage. This will require your willpower. It will require your commitment to use your will and your courage to get out of bed in the morning, to stand up, to brush your teeth, to get dressed, and then to go outside and do what? To wander aimlessly? No. To look for what you can give to someone. Maybe the most you can muster is a smile or even a faint nod. Look for something to give. Look for something to share. That is giving expression to connection, to caring, to love. And that is the antidote for fear, including depression. Do you know what got me out of my depressions? Psychotherapists couldn't. Drugs couldn't. Prescription drugs couldn't. I got interested in what I learned from a meeting of physicists at the Lawrence Berkeley Laboratory that I was invited to by a friend. And I heard those physicists asking themselves the question, are we creating the reality that we are experimenting with? Are we creating the reality that we are experimenting with? That shook me. I used to have coffee shop conversations about that, but these were some of the world's best physicists. And eventually, long story short, very long story, very short, I wanted to share what I was learning from these physicists and from my extensive research and reading about quantum physics. It was liberating to me. And it wasn't just that it was liberating. I wanted to share what was liberating with people who might not be interested in science, liberal arts majors like me, who weren't interested in science and had no interest or knowledge of mathematics. I wanted to give a gift to the world. I wanted to give it on a silver platter, everything that I was learning. I asked the physicists at this group eventually if they'd help me write a book, and they all, except one, agreed. They agreed. Some of the world's best physicists, because they sensed, I believe, that I was sincerely interested in what they were passionate about, and I wanted to share it with others who could use it in turn constructively themselves in their areas of expertise, whether that was family raising or education or healthcare. And I did. I wrote a book called The Dancing Wooly Masters. And in the process of writing that, I discovered remarkable things. I'll talk to you about them later. Here's a cut to the chase. It was only when I stopped thinking about myself, even for a few minutes, even for a morning, when I stopped thinking about how do I get the rent, how do I get sex, how good can I look, how impressive am I on my motorcycle, only when I started thinking about other people, about someone else. How can I help? What can I give? How can I learn these complicated concepts, which at their heart are simple, but you have to go deep, deep, deep to find the simplicity of it, like you have to go deep, deep, deep to find the simplicity of your life, which is to love. But just hearing me say that is not going to help you love. Only you're going deep into your life. But I went deep into physics of all things, quantum physics, found it fascinating, and was committed to sharing it with others, to giving them the benefit and the excitement and the exhilaration of discovery and use that I was encountering. That is your path out of depression. That is a way out of hell. That is the way out of every hell. Love, caring, do something. Do something for someone beside yourself. That's what I learned about depression. That's how I got out of my depression. I wasn't thinking, how can I get out of my depression because I hurt? You can see that's not going very far toward other people. But when I started thinking, how can I share this? How can I express this in a way that's engaging and exciting and show people the simplicity of it so that they'll understand it too, so that they'll be as excited as I am, so that they'll be as passionate as I am? Yes, use your depression to create emotional awareness, to use emotional awareness, to allow you to see emotional awareness at its rock bottom basis, which is physical pain, and then challenge it by not being controlled by it, by not allowing it to control you, and in that moment, acting on another part of your personality. a part of your personality that comes from love, even if it's a part of your personality that says, I want to get up today. I want to look outside and go outside. Even if it's raining, I want to stick my hand out and feel what rain feels like, and then connect. Who would have ever dreamed that a discussion of depression could be so joyful? Join me next time to explore the epic transformation of human consciousness that is reshaping our species and your part in it. It may surprise you. I'm Gary Zukav.